I think now, looking back at my junior career, like the biggest thing that I didn't understand then that I understand now is the effort my parents put into it. I I have gone a much greater appreciation of what they actually did for me. Then I probably was harder on my parents than I should have been, which I have learned now. Which I think that I'm giving back that appreciation in other ways. But I think that they drove me around to tournaments. They walked with me. They walked with me all the time. They really, all they really wanted was for me to do as best as I could. Then we might not have the same way of looking at it. That's when it gets tough and tricky, because parents only want the best for you, and I think that is the bottom line. And then we all express that emotion in different ways, but that's something that I've really understood the older I got. If I would go back to myself being young, this is extremely hard because I know that it takes maturity, it takes growth to understand these things. But I think that this goes back to, I can't change anybody else, but I can only change myself. And I know I can't change my parents. I can't change the way they reacted towards me. But I think that I could have encouraged some behaviors. I think that if I would have been able to sit down with them and say, actually, Mom and Dad, I don't need you to help me. I just need you to listen to me today. I think that just making them understand a little bit more what I needed at certain times. Because sometimes I just needed to spit things out. And I didn't need a hug. I didn't want things. And then other times I maybe wanted a hug. So maybe if I would have been able to give a little bit better of a delivery, then maybe it would help. But it's really hard because might not know what you want at that time, but sometimes you know, and you say, can I just get a hug? And I think that it's easier as a parent to maybe, when you get, like, if your kid says, hey, can I get a hug? It's really hard not to hug you, right? So it's a very touchy, tough subject, but it's very hard to say that to your parents. But I think it can help. I think it could help to make you, if you can express a little bit better what you would like. If you're very clear with what your goals are, then it's easier for your parents to both guide you and help you to reach those goals. So if you would tell your mom and dad, hey Mom, I want to do the best that I can today. That is my only goal. You're more likely to go to get a good feedback on that rather than your score. I think it's involving making it, because it is a team effort. In the end of the day, it's always a team effort. I have a team now. It might not involve my parents as much anymore, but when I was young, it was my parents. I travel with my boyfriend, but his role now might have been the role that my dad had in my game before. So your team is just switching out to other people. But I think the more you can involve them in a way, making them understand what you're trying to do, just sitting down and say, okay, this is what I want to do at the end of the season. These are my values that I want to do. I think it might be better to help being guided in a good direction. I think a lot more parents needs to be more quiet. I think in the end of the day, you're not their coach. You are their parent. You're there for support. And I think it's easy to start criticize quicker than might be necessary. If a kid has a bad round, they need their mom and dad. They don't need somebody to tell them what they did wrong. They already know. You know what you did wrong, and you might just need that encouragement to keep fighting next time. I think I see it all the time. I know that people just want the best for their kids, but they're being pushed a little bit too much when you can tell that they are doing their best, and you're not helping this cause right now. I would probably even say kind of sit down together before, even like if you involve your parents in your planning and your loop system, sit down and have even a system when you get into the car. I would always say a lot of times we're too hard on ourselves, right? So when you sit down in a car, okay, if I would say, tell me 5 things. Have a system in the car, like even as a parent or as a kid, okay, tell me the 5 best things about your day. And then maybe tell me 2 things that you want to improve for the next time. And then just making sure you don't only focus on the bad, just try to encourage the good. Because I think that as humans, we're all more critical of ourselves than we are positive and encouraged to ourselves. So I think would create a system together that would work for that individual. Because for me, if I would have been I think it would have been a lot better for me. I'm still not bad at it. There's potential to grow in it, but the more I focus on what I'm good at, the more I'm putting into I'm believing in myself, my confidence bank, all of the things. But I also can't forget about what I need to improve, but I need to focus on what I'm good at first. Then I go into what I need to get better at. But I like systems and overall, I like to think of things as, okay, this is my list. Okay, we talk about the 5 things that you did well today. Then we talk about the 2 things that you didn't do as well today. Then we evaluate, and then we just let it go. Because I think it's a time when you just have to let it go and be like, we're done. Today's done. We take these things with us for the next time, but then going back to be parents and kids.